Good afternoon, and welcome to Bourbon Bikes Business with Hank and Blaise. How's everybody doing today?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Blaise. How you doing?
Great. So we've got an awesome show today. I finally did my homework, and we're going to go over my shopping list here for top 5 bourbon under $150 budget bourbons, and see how I stacked up against Hank.
No. That is not the contest. The contest is build the best bourbon collection you can for $150.
Okay, the best bourbon I can.
These are not budget bourbons necessarily.
No, that's true. They're not. That's a good point. That's a good point. So anyway, what are you sipping on today here? I'm done with the Dickel finally.
Oh my God, you finished with the Dickel. The Dickel's probably happy about that. Okay. So I was up in Pittsburgh this past weekend,
right?
As always for hockey, and I stopped in the Fine Wines and Good Spirits estate store up there, and I found something I've never seen before, but I've heard about. So most of us have probably heard of Jefferson's Ocean, right?
Yeah, I saw a lot of that recently on YouTube.
So what they do is they take the regular Jefferson's bourbon, they put it in the barrels. Supposedly they put it on the boat, and it goes out to sea across the equator a couple times and comes all the way back, and it's aged in these barrels. And I swear to you, every time I taste it, I can taste the salt water, the briny
That's
kind
what the
of
guys
water.
down in Austin, they were sipping it. They actually like it. They spoke very highly of it.
Oh, it's good.
And he said the same thing. I taste the salt in the air.
You can taste it. I swear.
Really?
I don't know if they added after the fact or if it's legit, but you can taste it. Now,
that's a marketing thing.
But I found something that I had only heard of and never seen up there, which is the Jefferson's Ocean cast strength single barrel.
I just saw that on the shelf this week.
So I'm going to, now I poured the wrong bottle. I grabbed the wrong bottle off the shelf. I actually poured myself a regular Jefferson's single barrel.
The blue label thing with the
But now I'm going to pour a little of this. I'm actually going to do a to B sampling and see if I, what the difference is between the Jeffersons and see if I can get that briny taste again.
So is that one out to sea as well, the cast strength, or no?
The Jefferson's Ocean. This is the Jefferson Ocean cast strength single barrel.
That must be over $100 for that, right?
100 spot on.
Yeah. Because I think I saw 75, 81 for the regular one.
So
that's not that much more for the cast strength.
No, the state stores, their pricing is moderate. You can't get as much. Actually, I was in there and they still had the tag on the shelf for Blanton's for $67. Apparently, they had 4 or 5 they got in, and they were gone. I asked the lady. She said, "Yeah, we got that in 2 weeks ago," and they were gone in like minutes.
I got a question for you. I saw this on the site you recommended. I forget which one, for online bourbon shopping. Our number one pick when we did the last taste test was the Weller. What is it?
CYPB.
CYPB. I swear it was like $130. How could that be?
Where?
On the site you told me about.
No chance, Lance.
Because you said it was like $600-700, right?
No chance. I'll look at it right now.
I should have bought it because it was either a mistake.
It was probably at your
or maybe it was $239, but it was like a third of what I remember you telling me that cost is for that bottle.
I'm looking right now. Because if it's $130, I'll buy it. But there's no way. No, it's $5.99 on that site.
Okay. Maybe it was one of my Facebook sites.
Yeah. It's your, what was it called? Odin's Barrels or something?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Glenn's Barrels.
You'll never see it, and your credit card will be ripped off.
So are you sipping 2 different ones today, or just that one?
This is the regular Jefferson's. This is the cast strength Oceans.
So go ahead and, what's the nose like on the two? I'm thinking the cast strength's going to be better.
Hold on. So I want to do taste. I want to go back to taste. I want to see if it's hotter.
Always doing things backwards. Taste before.
It's a little bit hotter. It's a very similar smell, actually.
Really?
Now I think probably in the Oceans, I think the cast strength is going to take away any little bit of kind of a salt hint or briny hint
I
that
was
you
going to
would
ask you,
otherwise
do you have
get.
the salt air in that one too, or no?
No, I don't get it in that.
Huh.
It tastes almost like the regular Jefferson's.
So you don't think it's that big of a difference for that extra cost? Whatever's bleeping on your computer, turn that off, will you?
It's my work.
Turn off your work. You're not at work.
I don't know. The back to, no, I don't have water in between, so it's kind of
Hmm.
murky.
Yeah.
I don't think the difference is that great. I do have a bunch of
Really?
heat in my mouth right now though. So for both of them. Now this Ocean's cast strength, it's 117.8 proof. Like that's no joke.
Hmm.
So yeah, there's some heat to it, but I would say there's probably some heat to the regular Jefferson single barrel as well, because my mouth is
Right.
just it's radiating right now. So
Interesting. All
anyway,
right.
both are good. Both are great actually.
So I'm gonna try one of my bottles that I got. My 5 bottles here.
Well, don't expose it because you'll blow it unless you want to introduce your first bottle and then taste it.
I'm doing that. I'm introducing my first bottle.
Fair enough.
So
All right.
so number one, let me just say, so my budget came out 150 even, which was amazing. It was a challenge. I was putting bottles, like you said, back and forth, had a couple in my hands. But they helped me out the second place. I went to 2 places in Maryland. I was going to go to some others, but in the essence of time and making sure I have my show ready today for you to present this.
Well, you're only 3 weeks behind, so
I know, like, give me a break. Anyway, so I did some research on YouTube over the last week, and this one came up quite a bit.
Okay.
So number one.
Okay, so hold on before you introduce this.
Okay.
What was your methodology, if any, in selecting your 5, and the order in which you present? Is there any meaning to it, or are you just picking them out of the box?
No, I'm just grabbing them out of the box here, and I didn't really have a methodology. Although, let me back up. I created a page of a list of things that I thought might fit into this process.
Okay.
And 2 of them, which I couldn't find, a little upset. I thought yesterday I would have had. One was Buffalo Trace, which I couldn't locate a bottle of. And 2, what was the second one though? Trying to think. What was it? I mentioned it to you earlier. What did I say the second bottle was? I was looking.
Was it the new Jim Beam?
Yes. The Jim Beam 7-year black label that is just being released this month to replace their older version, which I think was a black label thing, but it was like $26, $28 because I saw some great reviews on that. So I'm going to still go look for it. Maybe we'll do a taste test down the road. But anyway, so here's what I came up with. So what do you want to know? You want to know the prices of the bottles first? I'll tell you some prices, or we'll price them as we go.
Yeah, I'd like to, before you present it, I'd like to know type of whiskey, the price,
yeah, I'll talk. Let's do one at a time. So we'll start with this one. So here we go. Number one, $27 a bottle.
Okay.
Buffalo Trace product, which I've never heard of this one before. Huh. Proof is 125.
Whoa.
Yeah. And 125 for $27. I had to try this. Yes, it is bourbon. They actually have 3 or 4 different versions of this, all under $30. And where I bought it, they said they're flying off the shelves. I got the last bottle of this one, and they had several of another one, and the 2 other versions were gone. He said they were gone the day we set them down. So this is a popular product. It's called, and it doesn't say Buffalo Trace, but it is Buffalo Trace.
It's called my guess.
Want to guess?
I think it's wrong based on price and based on you saying that there are different types of it. The cheapest one I know of under Buffalo Trace, other than Buffalo Trace itself, is the New Travelers.
Oh, no. Here it is, right here. You may not even
benchmark. I didn't realize it was Buffalo Trace.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. So this is the foolproof. There's like 4 different versions of it. Basically, it says McAfee Brothers Benchmark Extra Strong Foolproof Kentucky Bourbon, 125. So,
that's hot.
Yeah. So let me try this again. Has a pretty good nose.
Now, do
Ice?
you have it on ice or you straight
No,
up?
actually, last night I tried it. I sipped it on ice, and it took away the flavor. And she
Yep.
was yelling at me for trying that. But anyway, as usual, I get yelled at for everything. Uh, that's the way
You
I
and me
like.
both, brother.
Yeah, yeah. So on the nose, I think it's fruity and cinnamony. A little bit of oak. You smell some oak in there. I let her try it first. She goes, "Oh, that's pretty good. Smooth." Then I told her the proof. She goes, "Really?" She's. I think she's right. Not on ice, it's smoother. On the ice, it was. I felt the major burn.
I never drink with ice because it takes away too much of the taste. If
Yeah,
I want to taste it.
it's a big difference. Oh, I won't drink this on ice again. This is
It's
very
good.
cinnamony. Yeah, very warm. I wouldn't say it's. You can't tell the 125. It's there. It stays with you right through the palate all the way through. Let me try that one more time. Ooh, definitely your typical cinnamony, oaky, almost a little bit of cherry. I want to say cherry
Is it a
banana.
prototypical Buffalo Trace taste or is it totally different?
It's I would call it Buffalo Trace warmer. If you take that
Okay.
and move it up two notches, that's what it tastes like. You could definitely tell it's a Buffalo Trace, but it's not mild and smooth like a regular Buffalo Trace.
Right.
It's got a jacked spice, a little more oak, and you can feel the heat on it. So
Okay.
that's number one. I actually liking that for the
Sounds
money.
like a pretty good bargain there.
Budget. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty good bargain. All right. And again, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. I have never tasted any of these before. So this is new ground for me. Thanks to you picking three of my five favorites in your selection. Yeah, right.
I do what I
Uh,
can.
yeah, exactly.
I'm
So,
broadening your horizons.
yeah, you are. You definitely are. So, number
Mhm.
two was the least expensive at $24.
Wow.
And this is one I was going back and forth on too. I had the twice at both stores. I had the Elijah Craig rye in my hand. I
Yeah,
I
right?
put it back both times, and I've never had that one either. So I'm gonna have to try. I think I
They
don't know if
lost
you.
two sales on us.
Yeah, exactly. So this one is a what is this? This is a Jimmy Russell distilled product. Proof
Say Russell Wild Turkey
101.
101 rye.
Have you had this? I've never had the rye.
I got the rye. That's in mine too.
Is it?
Remember, I had to get both the 101 and the 101 because the Elijah Craig was $3 more.
Not the Elijah Craig. Draw on one of them.
I even told you in that video, make sure you get the Elijah Craig.
Look at the video and see what you had on your list. I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember the last two. I don't think I have two. I think that's one. I got to draw it. Okay. So, anyway, we'll see who.
All right, well, we're going to taste that together.
Yeah, we'll see where that plays at. It's going to be really interesting, in my opinion. After I got this, I was driving home last night and I said, you have a really good selection of popular ones that are very spicy at a mild proof, I would say, give or take 90 to 100 or so. I mean, mine, I got a proof range ranging from 90 to 125. And most of them are, with the exception of one, they're all over 100 proof.
Yeah.
So these are jacked up. And I didn't purposely go after this, just the way they ended up. I ended up selecting when I looked around what was there.
Good stuff. That's okay.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see how, in my opinion, when we stack these all 10, the spicy, more flavorful against the proofs, if any of mine come out in the top three with your batch, it's going to be a really interesting thing.
Yeah, I mean, my method was trying to get a little bit of everything and get as wide a variety as I could in my 5 bottles.
I did the same with the manufacturers.
Yeah.
I mean, the distilleries trying to get some diversity. All right, number 3. Again, haven't had this before. This is This was $27.
Okay.
So I had 2 at 27, 1 at 24. 114 proof. Again,
Ooh.
this is another big one. And this is different distillery. Let me just show it to you. I haven't had this. I've been meaning to get this, and I hear this is a good mixer. Old
114 Old
Granddad,
Granddad.
114, right?
Yeah.
So
We talked about that in my selection. I had that in my hand.
this is supposedly a bartender's favorite for mixing, I
Yeah,
think, from what I
yeah,
hear.
a lot of people love it. I just didn't like it, so I couldn't add it to my collection, honestly. But
Yeah.
I know a lot of people do like it, and it's inexpensive. I think I saw it for 19 where I was
Really? Wow.
at Total Wine and More. It's you can often get it under 20 if people are trying to hunt for it.
Yeah,
But
so this is
it's in my
distilled by
collection.
Old Granddad Distillery in Frankfurt.
Yeah,
I don't know. It says Frankfurt/Claremont, Kentucky.
I might recognize that when we're tasting. I'm not sure. I've
Again,
had
I
about
have no clue. I don't know what to expect on that one. That's
Yeah.
going to be
By the way, I
interesting.
took that the Pikesville rye with me up to Pittsburgh,
Oh,
and we crushed that bottle. It was done in
that
about a
is
half a
so
night.
good. You know, I was watching a couple of young kids doing bourbon hunting in Maryland, and they
Yeah.
went into a store, which I meant to go to the store. It's a little far, so I didn't get there, but I'm going there eventually. I'll tell you the name of it later. But they had
Well, maybe we
Pikesville
should do
rye.
a show.
They had Pikesville rye on this video, and he walked in. Get this, $27
Wow.
for Pikesville rye at a store
I mean,
in
it's
Maryland.
not a super expensive bottle. I don't know that I've seen it that inexpensive though.
The other bottle they had in the store that I was hoping to find, but I didn't, and I think it's new, comes from Lux Row. It's what is the one? Ezekiel? Not Ezekiel.
Ezra Brooks.
Ezra Brooks, cast strength, 99. They came out with a cast strength. And again, this guy had a store pick for like $28. Now, I know it's not the normal price. It's probably more like 38, but I couldn't find
Well,
it.
maybe we should do a show on a visit to that store.
Yeah, because the guy looks really cool, and he's got some really good prices. He always has like some store picks that are really heavily discounted.
Is it this side of the state?
It's on the other side of the DC Beltway,
Oh,
so it's a little.
I'll tell you, I
about
went
an
to
hour ride, but it looks like it'd be worth it for sure.
I went to a great store in College Park. They had everything under the sun there, and everything was, for secondary pricing, was reasonably on target. They weren't, price gouging or anything like that.
Mhm.
I ended up getting a Thomas Handy there, and paid the guy cash for it, and he gave me a little break on it. But
I think I
that
also saw at
store-
that store he had the kosher Buffalo Trace products. They were like $110, $120. Is that about right?
Well, I mean, I got mine for 65.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, that's the retail price is about 60, 65.
Wow.
But
All
you
right.
can't find it is the problem.
These next two, again, I haven't had, but this one I see people raving on YouTube about. So we'll go to that one next. So we're working our way up in price. So this is $30, which I thought
This is your number 4?
this is my number 4. $30. This is a Buffalo Trace product, again, which I have not had, labeled under a different name. Proof, it's a small batch. It's only a 90 proof. I think you've had this before. You probably have this.
Which one is it? I can't see clearly.
Bowman Brothers.
Bowman Brothers. Yep.
Pioneer Spirit, Virginia
I didn't realize
Straight
that was
Bourbon
Buffalo
Whiskey.
Trace.
Yeah, it is.
I thought that
It's-
was distilled in Virginia.
It says product of Virginia, but let me see here. Somewhere I heard that there's a connection between Kentucky and Virginia. Maybe I'm wrong. Spotsylvania County, Fredericksburg, Virginia. Really?
Yeah, it's out of
That's
Virginia.
where it is.
The cool thing about that is each bottle, there are different flavors and different
Yeah,
types.
they had a port barrel next to this one that was
And they
more.
all have like a different brother's name. So there's like Isaac Bowman, there's
Oh, is that what it
Andrew
is?
Bowman and John Bowman. So
But
there's
this
all
is
kinds.
supposed to be good. I'm curious to taste this because everybody that tasted it said it was up there, right in their top 3 with some other things they're looking at. So
Yeah,
small batch, 90 proof.
that's an interesting bottle.
Yeah. Have you had this?
I have it in my collection.
I thought you did. There's one that I've seen with the green label down here, but they said as long as it says small batch, it's still going to be a good selection. So that's one I have. And then the last one,
What's the proof on that?
it's only 90. So that's the lowest
Yeah,
proof bottle I got. So I'm guessing it's going to drink like a Buffalo Trace. I might be
Mhm.
wrong. We'll see, but they say it's very smooth from what I saw. Um, I really struggled on the last pick. I was going back and forth on this one last night. Even with the owners they were helping me. I told them what we were doing, and the woman was yelling out to the guy at the counter, "How about this?" And he go, "Oh, how about that?" So they were bouncing me back and forth. And at the end, the hardest point was coming down to this last bottle because they were both $42. So I had, I went budget on everything up to this point. So I had a little extra. And so I'm going $42. What do you got for $42? And I picked up this Maker's Mark cast strength, which was 109.7 proof. She goes, "That's a good bottle. You'll like that." And I've never had that before.
It's good.
Yeah. And then I found this other one that they had at one end of the store for 47. And then I found a store pick for 42, 41.99 to be exact. And it came with a glass. And I'm like, But I had been looking, I saw this online too that was supposedly good. So this is totally different this is a Kentucky whiskey coming in at 47% alcohol. Is that 94 proof? I think it is. Yeah, 94 proof. Single barrel select from Jack Daniels. Single barrel select. And they have, I think, several different ones that they have. There's 2 or 3 different ones.
I have a bourbon and a rye one.
Oh, you have a rye. That's what I was looking for, the rye, because they said the rye is pretty good. Do you like the rye on this one here?
They're both good. They're both very good.
Yeah, it's a very dark color. Looks really...
And it's a beautiful bottle to have in a collection.
Yeah, it is. It's a really pretty bottle to have sitting there.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it'll last around this household, but... So that's what I came up with. So
you guys go through your bourbon. You bring in the house, and a week later, it's done.
But this is the most bourbon I've had probably in 2 years since I went to Kentucky at one time. So we'll see. But 150 even when you add the numbers up: 24, 27, 27, 30, and 42. And again, the proof was 101, 125, 114, 90, and 94. If I would have gone with the makers, I would have had, instead of 94, 109.7. So that would have been a really hot pick as far as proofs go. So again, I have not had any of these, so it's going to be an interesting thing. And I'm really curious in the blind tasting we're going to do in another week, how these are going to stack up to what you have. At least 4 of them.
We'll see. Yeah, the 5th one will be very similar.
I mean, maybe we'll have to swap out this one for.
Well, you want a rye though in the collection, right? You want to have a rye in the collection.
Yeah. I've never had the 101 rye.
Unless you go back to the store and exchange it for the Elijah.
That's what I'm thinking. They probably let me do that because I think it was 28 or 27.
Of those. Yeah, I've done that before. I've taken a bottle back before, usually with a receipt. But if you know the store owner, they'll take it back.
I do, and I have the receipt, so maybe I'll try that. We'll see.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty good collection.
That's a good collection.
This blind taste is going to be a challenging one, I think.
It's going to be very cool.
Wow. Oh,
yeah.
Another topic. I got a couple good rides in this week. I did Sugarloaf twice, and I did my 3 mountain climb behind me here, and felt pretty good on both of them.
Good.
It was good to get back on the road. I went in the middle of the day, so there wasn't a lot of traffic. But I think I just got to get out and do more of those 2 kind of climbs. I'm thinking about trying a 3 Sugarloaf. I figure Sugarloaf is about 500-600 feet of elevation, and then I climb over the backside, and with climbing up out of the Canal Valley to Sugarloaf is another 1,000. So I could get up to at least over 3,000 feet on one ride in 35 miles, which is pretty good.
So I did 31 miles on the trainer the other day, and then this morning I did my hill repeats on Eagle Head again. I just did 4. I had an hour. So did an hour of repeats. But I feel like if I do getting out on long rides is tough because I don't have much time. And by the time you get everything ready to go out, and should you even get a flat tire, a mechanic, or something, like it totally derails the little bit of time that I have. So I think most of my long rides are just going to be smashing it on the trainer.
Well, I did 52 miles on the canal from Point of Rocks up to Shepherdstown and back last week too. So that was the longest ride of the year I've had. And I think it was like 3 hours, just around 3 hours. So that was pretty good.
So I think I'm just going to smash long rides on the trainer. And then in between, I'm going to do hill repeats on Eaglehead. Mm-hmm. And it is what it is. I got the Tour de Frederick at the beginning of June that will give me a 60-plus miler, which will be good.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that Loudoun County gravel ride. It might be coming up this month. I got to look at it. It might even be sold out. I got to pick something to do in between. Maybe I think we should do a me show for a warm up.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
But that's a good one. Maybe we can do a little longer than what we've done before. Try to do 40, 45. That would be like half a day's ride for us on this trip.
Yeah. I'm getting killed with work and family. It's just, I can't get away. There's hockey all the time. There's dogs.
I know.
I just can't get away.
Anyway, next show should be an interesting one.
Yeah. The blind taste. So this is how we're going to set this up.
Yeah.
Right?
How are we doing this?
We're going to pour a little shot of each of our collections times 2 so that we both have it. And then we're going to go, I guess we'll taste one collection and then taste the other collection and then go back through.
We might have to have a cigar in the middle of this too.
We might have to have a cigar. It's going to be a long night. It's going to be a long night. You might want to bring a pillow.
Yeah.
So we'll do the blind taste and see how it goes. See who prevails for $150.
That's going to be interesting to see what the pecking order is. I mean, again, we'll probably have slightly different. This stuff is so subjective all the time of what we like. But I think last time we were pretty close on what we picked, right?
We had the same picks the last time we did the blind.
Same picks. That's interesting.
Same order. Yep.
So it'd be interesting to see what percentage out of 10 we picked close.
So it's going to be collection in the aggregate, though, as opposed to one versus the other.
Right.
So on the whole, do you like that set of whiskeys versus on the whole, do you like this set of whiskeys?
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're going to compare. So we're going to rate my group together side by side with you and me, and then your group side by side. I thought we were going to do all 10 to see what's
we are going to end up
best.
tasting 10. But we're not going to rank all 10. What we're going to do is collection versus collection.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So
who has the best collection for $150?
So our listeners will have 2 collections to look at and what we thought were the top 2 or 3 of each of those collections. I got you.
And it will be interesting to see what we think. I don't know. Maybe we'll agree or disagree on which collection is the best collection.
Right.
I don't know. It'll be interesting.
I think it's good for general people out there because these are all good options. I think at least 75% of them are going to be very well liked tastes, especially with a good cigar.
For sure. I am going to look into securing the tent site at Hope Patty today.
Okay, cool.
Hope Patty is after night 2, correct?
Oh, 2 things. He got back to me. We can't get the cabin because he said it's just a family thing. So we're going to have to figure out other options. But the other thing he said, when they started out, they went on the new river, not river. What's the trail up there?
Pine
Creek Trail. They climbed up, if you recall, did the ridge and came down before the end of the first day and got back on the trail. And then I think climbed up to wherever they stayed that first night. He said, if we wanted to, which will save some time and 1,500 feet of elevation, you could just take the whole trail down and camp at the end of the trail somewhere the first night instead of going up. So when we get together next week, let's look at that. We may want to just camp off the Pine Creek the first night.
Yeah.
Instead of, I don't know about food. We probably have to carry some food with us that day.
So what he was saying, they actually got off the trail just to go to the restaurant and camp and then got back on the trail?
They got on the trail, came out of New York, got on the trail, climbed up to the ridge above the trail, came back down to the trail, and then I think climbed up the mountaintop where they stayed the first day.
Oh.
So he said we could stay right before that climb up mountaintop
Oh,
the first
I
day
gotcha.
and then get breakfast at the top of the climb the next morning.
Gotcha.
I don't know. We have to look at the mileage and everything.
Okay.
But yeah. So Wednesday evening next week, we'll be doing a long taste test. Should be fun.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
that'll be a good time.
Great to see everybody. Have a good week. Thanks for listening. Remember, again, we have that sticker on our podcast where you can donate to help support the channel. Looking for guests to come on the show down the road. Have a great week.
Peace out, everyone.
See you.